This is the TSLA 1-month overview reading for the month of December 2024. It's currently November 28th, 2024, 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time. TSLA at the time of this reading is $332.89. That's USD. And the shuffle video for the December reading was created on October 15th, 2024, 2:04 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're lucky enough to be watching this video before Black Friday, the Black Friday deals are already running. You don't have to wait till Black Friday. These are the best deals we've ever offered by a landslide, my friends. Everything's cut in half or more, just about. The Black Friday deal ends on Cyber Monday. In this video, we're going to cover the overall trend direction for the month, as well as any important chart events that take place throughout the month. We're also going to cover the week-by-week chart behavior, timing of the peaks and troughs. Then we're going to get into a review of the previous month's reading to give you an idea of what our accuracy really is like. And we're going to give you one of the best trades that we see for the month. The timing, for the most part, is going to be on point to the day, but there will be some cases where the sequence of events, as outlined in the prediction, will remain accurate, but the day might be off plus or minus a day of wiggle room here or there. In other readings, you won't need to plus or minus wiggle room at all. Point being is that you want to follow the sequence of events as outlined by the prediction. When trading this information, you don't want to use price levels as your entry and exits. This is very important. You want to make sure that you're trading with entry and exits based on chart behavior and general timing, but look for the chart behavior. All of that in this video. Stay tuned to watch the review at the end. The overall theme and behavior for the month of December, the piece card in the theme position is indicating one of two things. Overall flat behavior throughout the month. That doesn't necessarily mean it's like flat the entire month, but it could mean that it's flat, like where we start is roughly where we end price-wise. But combined with the art card, more likely what's taking place is that we have a prominent move higher on a one-year chart scale into a key resistance level where we might flatten out temporarily before turning around and declining pretty notably with like a full retracement back down, again on a multi-day scale. When we look at the 1 year, we've got a highest high indication in December. We've also got an indication of a month's high mid-month. I mean, it looks like we had a highest high here in December. That took place. We had a highest high here in early November, and you can see it took place on the chart. So we've got a highest high for the year here in November, and you can see how that took place in November. We also have a highest high again in December, very likely the same one or just slightly higher. It's possible that this is what I was picking up on the 1 year, because this second high here, because you do have to give the 1 year's plus or minus 2 weeks of wiggle room sometimes. Remember, sequence of events most important. But my sense is that we probably have more movement to the upside end. I would look for an important speaker impacting Tesla somewhere mid-month around a high, like price level should be near highest highs for the year, if not at them, and that would be an indication of timing that's a high. The 2024 Tesla reading was created on June 27th, 2023 at 8:09 p.m. Eastern Time. When I double click here, it brings me to this file. Posted a long time ago. Super accurate, my friends. Super accurate. We had lowest low in April, lowest low in March. Pretty solid stuff, guys. You can get the paid version of that 1 year for 2025. You can get the paid version of that through our Total Access subscription or through ordering the custom 1 year reading. I'm going to show you how to get both those at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Behavior around the highest high for the month of December. We have a significant move higher that'll stand out on a 1 year chart scale. Usually the adjustment card it's the short squeeze card. It doesn't mean that it's a short squeeze every time. It just means that it could be a short squeeze based on the fact that it's the high significator. It's unlikely to be a short squeeze. It's more likely that it's like a gap up or just like a huge move to the upside, like a huge green candlestick or like a big gap to the upside that takes us into the high. Behavior around the lowest low. The abundance card in the low significator positions indicating that there's an important high on a multi-day scale within close time proximity to the month's low. That could mean that there's a really sharp decline from a high into a low. And the fact that it's the abundance card, it might mean that it's like an all-time high. It's a little difficult to determine that from a 1 month placement. We have at least one sharp drop on a multi-day scale taking place in the month of December as well, indicated by the unicursal hexagram. It's interesting. I just did the Amazon reading, and these unicursals are taking place within close time proximity to where I see Amazon lows. We'll look at that in more detail in the monthly access subscription version. Now, I'll give you the day-by-day sequence of chart events. It's important to understand that is the main message of the prediction. We're predicting the sequence of chart events. Usually the timing is on point to the day, but you have to, in some readings, account for plus or minus a day here of wiggle room. If it's more than that, I consider it a garbage reading. It happens occasionally. For the most part, just keep that in mind, follow the sequence of events. And if you really insist on trading this information, you should really have the Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view charts. That stuff, I'll show you how to get all that at the end of the video. A lot going on here on the second. There's 2 local highs and 1 local low. What I mean by local low is that on a 1 day chart for the second for Tesla, we should see 2 crests or peaks and 1 trough or low of some kind, right? I think what happens is we probably decline from key resistance on a multi-day scale, and then by the end of the day, we have this big move back to the upside, or at the cusp of the day, we have this big move to the upside. On the third, we're either moving to the upside at the beginning of the day, or we gap up overnight into the third or whatnot, but there's opportunity there to open up a position and close a position. I'm going to talk about that in a lot more detail as we progress into the monthly access version of this video. But the fourth, there's a lot of price change on the 4th, a prominent trough at the end of the day on the 4th. On the 5th, we have a decline that ends with a fast sudden move higher. That fast sudden move higher likely rallying into the 6th or on the cusp of the 5th, 6th, where we have a key resistance that's met on a multi-day scale, and then we decline from that resistance with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. On the 9th, we have another prominent decline, 2 and 3 support, and another support. We rotate sideways trying to find direction for a little bit, and then we break down through more supports. A lot of volatility on the 10th, a pop and drop on the 11th. It looks like a pop towards the end of the day on the 11th, followed by a drop into sideways rotation off of that peak, like into sideways rotation on the 12th. A sideways fluctuating decline preceding a notable rally on the 13th. Prominent peak and a prominent trough on a 1 month scale on the 13th as well. Key resistance there on a multi-day scale highlighted as well. And that key resistance highlighted again on the 16th, where midday we have another prominent peak on a 1 month scale within a period of volatility, and a sharp drop should stand out within that period of volatility, likely off of that peak midday. On the 17th, a lot of price change covered. It looks like there's a peak that will sell off from, at least it'll be a prominent peak on a 1 day chart at least, that will sell off from pretty notably on both a 1 day chart and probably a multi-day chart. It could be that we're declining from the peak on the 16th into revisiting of an important trough on the 18th, or it could be that the majority of that decline is on the 17th. Hard to say. But remember, we've got a high and a low within close time proximity to each other here. Then we've got that universal hexagram taking place on the 18th, a period of sideways rotation on a multi-day scale with a sharp drop that'll stand out in that period of sideways rotation. Move to the upside probably towards the end of the day, or more likely on the 19th, it'll be a breakout of some kind with like a gap up into the 20th, and then on the 20th we have a move higher, and then a full retracement event, move back down. On the 23rd, a rallying along a diagonal trend line, breaking through horizontal resistance, meet another resistance before pulling back to somewhere between those two price levels. We have two prominent peaks there, and then on the half day there for the 24th, there's a key resistance level that's highlighted. A lot of price change towards the end of the day there. I think there's probably like a resistance on the 23rd, pretty notably there on the 23rd, and then a move back out of that decline, back all the way to that resistance there at the end of the day on the 23rd, and or again on the 24th for that midday. End of the day there, or over the holiday, significant amount of price change. On the 26th, a decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time into a trough there. There's also a prominent peak on the 26th, trough on the cusp of the 26th, 27th, peak midday on the 27th, and we should decline pretty notably through multiple support levels off of a brief peak that's easily missed there on the 27th. Sideways rotation on the 30th that ends with a fast 7 move higher, taking us into key resistance somewhere around either the cusp of the 30th and the 31st, or towards the middle part of the 31st. I'm advised not to chase the rally there into the end of the day, and there should be a sharp drop on the 31st. Or before I give you one of the best trades that I see for the month of December, let's just take a look at October and see how we did. We had highs here at the very beginning of the month. Looks like we had actually for the day before the month started, and there was a highest high right there. Right, we go into lowest lows. Looks like on the 14th I expected a lowest low, possibly another one here on the 24th. It looks like I was off by 1 day, guys. It was on the 11th, so it ended up being on Friday, and then we saw it again on a lower one just slightly on the 23rd. So looks like that second low came into play, and then we have this big ace of discs move back to highs at the end of the month. And there, I see the high there. I missed it somehow. I missed it coming back to the high. But what I can say is that off of the lows, we had out of a decline, big move from the bottom of range all the way to the top of range. You can see off of the low, all the way from the bottom of range right back to the top of a range. Behavior off of the highest high. We have a decline to and through support, meaning a second support. We rotate sideways along that support for a bit before breaking down through more supports into the low. That's exactly what happened off of the high. Best trades on the 4th would have opened up a short position in the midst of that move to the upside, closed the short position the very next trading day on the 7th, and that would have panned out for a good solid trade. You could have opened up at, a long position on the 7th and closed that long position midday on the 9th. Looks like that actually panned out as a good trade as well. And then here on this one didn't work out as hot because we were expecting on the 11th we would be able to open up a short position in the midst of that ace of wands. Now technically it still panned out as a profitable trade, because if you did that in the midst of the rally, you could have closed that same day for a profit or the very next day for a profit. So still a solid trade, but I think what we were really looking for was this ace of wands into the ace of cups, which is this move from here into here. So we were off on a day there, but then ace of cups on the 14th, open up a long position, close a long position on the 17th probably. That would have panned out, and then likely you could have, if you missed all those, you probably could have closed out on the 25th. That would have been a hugely profitable trade. However, using SO meta-analysis rule of thumb, we would not have waited for that. It's better to take small gains and reposition, But anyway, really solid stuff, guys. Aside from we missed this high at the end of the month and we're off a day here, you know, considering that we did the October reading, the shuffle file was created on August 20th, 2024, 9:54 p.m. Eastern time. That's a testament to the power of SO meta-analysis. All right, let's get back into it. So we go from a highest high at the beginning of the year into lows, right? Lowest low, lower lowest low, lower low, lowest low here, and then from those lows into a high, a low high here, back into an important trough, and then a big move to the upside. Highs for the year here in November. We push the upper end of a range higher out of October and into November, right? That's that Aeon card. So this has been pretty solid. We missed the high here, but aside from that, really, really solid stuff, guys. All right, so it's important to remember, guys, this information is really only for entertainment purposes. If you should only trade this information if you have access to the live Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view charts, because that keeps you up to date when things go awry. I'm able to read the reading in real time and course correct really easily. But if you insist on doing it without those services, what you want to do is look for the chart behavior I'm going to give you leading into the entry. If that chart behavior does not transpire as expected leading into the entry, do not enter the trade. It's a clear indication it's a failed trade. It happens sometimes. But what we should see here on the 2nd is a decline from key resistance on a multi-day scale. Pretty notable decline into mid to late in the day, probably midday. And then from that, we should have a big move to the upside out of the decline into the end of the day or overnight into the 3rd. So what you want to do in the midst of that decline is you want to open up a long position, and then you want to close that long position the following day on the 3rd. Yeah, so this half day that we have here on the 29th, there should be a decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time. Provided that we see that, there should be like a pop and a drop in here as well. So move higher, full retracement of that move. So decline increasing with momentum on the last day of November. If we see that, and then we see decline from key resistance on a multi-day scale here early in the day on the 2nd, that's where I'd enter the trade for that long. Close along the following day. Now, if I'm long about closing the long there, either way, you on the 3rd, in the midst of a rally, you'll want to open up a short position for a swing trade into the following day. At that point, I'd probably, if I missed the opportunity to close the long, I'd probably hold it, but stay, open up that short as well. Likely opportunity to close that long, but I wouldn't wait for it, my friends, on the 16th. All right, guys, I'm going to show you how to get those services with the monthly access subscription. One of the best ways to support the channel, and we definitely know the names of everybody that does this, because they're a huge part of what goes on here at Tarot for Traders. So I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, so again, if you're lucky enough to be watching this before the end of Cyber Monday, we have some of the craziest sales that we've ever had. Pull the trigger on these before they're gone, guys. The total access subscription gives you access to the 1 years, all the 1 years, like the TSLA 2025 1 year, all the best trades that we see, gives you access to live Discord trade alerts, live updated trading view charts for all of those tickers and crypto symbols, all of that stuff, guys. Upgrade to it, or upgrade from monthly to that, or if you're in early access, upgrade to monthly access, because it's normally 300, it's 160 here. We want to give you guys a last opportunity before next year, like literally we're going to explode. We tend to see things, so 2025 is where we explode. You want to get on board before then, my friends. These are lifetime prices. So the way that you get that, you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, hover over order now, click on subscriptions. This is if it's after Cyber Monday, here are the normal prices. Monthly access subscription gets you all those services and info for these stickers and crypto. In the total access, you get all of these and a lot more that are coming out, plus that just weren't updated onto this list yet. There's a ton. Oh, and also when you have these subscriptions, you get the versions that have the timing of the highest highs and the lowest lows for 1 year's. So the highest high and the lowest low for the year of 2025, or if it's a monthly, the highest high and the lowest low for the month of whatever month it's looking at. All of that stuff is also in those subscriptions. So, but if it's before the end of Cyber Monday, all you got to do is go to our homepage and click on any one of these deals. Much love and appreciation to everybody who does that. Much love to everybody who can't do that either. With that said, blessings to all my angel investors. You know where to go, you know what to do.